It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hello.
Hello. Happy Wednesday, Gary.
Happy Wednesday, Steph.
It looks a little different behind you in your office right now. It's looking a little blank.
It is, isn't it? So the team moved a bunch of stuff downstairs to the. We're switching, as you know, we're consolidating. Yes. We were currently in 3 different offices, and we're going to consolidate those 3 into one bigger office on the 2nd floor. So starting next week, I'll be in a new office, and we'll still have the studio on the 3rd floor. Mm-hmm. But I'll be in a new office, and it'll look more similar to what I had before. But yeah, they took my stuff away, so it looks kind of bare.
So it's just a blank wall.
I know.
I'm excited, though. It's going to be all of us in one big office. Everyone will be there in one room for me to distract them.
Steph is good at that sometimes.
I'm so good at that.
But Steph has the greatest stories.
I do.
Like, you have great stories. Like, you're a good storyteller.
Yes, because I feel like I tell like menial, like just arbitrary stories of everyday life, and I make it sound like I'm fighting a battle.
But you're fighting the life battle. So
I am. I was telling you how excited I was over the weekend because I was like, I'm having a little AV is IT moment, and I set up a mesh network in my apartment by myself because I absolutely, you know what? You can quote me on this. I don't care. I hate Spectrum. I hate them. I hate their internet. I hate everything about them. I hate their customer service. I wish that I could use any other internet, but nothing else is available where I live because they have like a little monopoly moment.
It's oligopoly, the government approved monopoly of the of the
literally. And I've literally asked for anything else. I'm like, Google Fiber, no. AT&T Fiber, no. Only available Spectrum. So it is horrible internet. It like barely works. So I was like, all right. Let me just pay and I'll set up a little Google Mesh network in my apartment instead. And I did it. It went fine. I did it. I troubleshooted everything. It wasn't working at first.
Troubleshooted?
But I troubleshot it by myself. And now my internet works really well. So, I guess you can like hire me if you want me to set up a mesh network in your house.
Okay, there you go. If you need someone to set up a mesh network,
yes,
Steph Beckett is available.
Steph Beckett. Almost a CTS holder and IT and AV professional.
There you go.
That's me.
All right. Well, congratulations. What brand was it, by the way?
Google. I have a Google Nest mesh network set up.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You are watching rAVe TV, which comes to you every Wednesday on ravepubs.com, LinkedIn,
yes,
Twitter, Facebook, and even sometimes Instagram. And you can
YouTube.
Comment at any of those places, and we will pay attention to those comments and respond to your comments appropriately. Yes. Let me load that up, actually. But so we have something exciting coming up. We, strategically planned a launch week 5 so that it wouldn't compete with ISE and DSE, and it would be sandwiched in between the two. And we'll talk about DSE in just a second getting postponed, but
but ISE isn't happening then either. So we strategically planned it, and now all the events that we sandwiched it in between are not happening. But no worries, because innovation happens whether there's a show or not. So I'm kind of glad that we're still doing an event, because things tend to come out around that time because manufacturers schedule them around these shows. So we will still have an opportunity for manufacturers to unveil their new products. So very exciting. A lot of good thought leadership will be involved. Megan, Dutta, and I will be hosting, the dynamic duo, and it'll be a good time. So make sure to go visit rAVe Pubs to learn all about how you can register. You can register also at launch.com, LAVNCH.com.
Yeah, and and if you're a manufacturer watching this and you want to be part of Launch Week 5, all the big title sponsorships are already sold out, but there's a lot of opportunities for you to have video interviews live, but we do everything live, by the way. You can't come on and say we're going to pre-record something and throw it up there. We don't do that. This is live. We want you to, if you want to do a live product demo, you want to do a discussion with Steph or Megan or me even, we have all those opportunities out there. You're launching a new product. Launch Week 5 is the time to do it. And for those of you who may or may not be familiar with Launch Week is the sort of like our flagship virtual event. While the world was shut down in the beginning of 2020, we held the first virtual event. And it's funny, Steph, it's been almost a year since we did one. And the reason why we're doing this is because manufacturers, like companies like Sony and Samsung and others, Shure, have said, hey, we need the ability to show new products globally, and you're the way to do it. So because these shows are shut down. But speaking of shutting down shows, you just broke the news, didn't you?
Well, yes. I think we were not technically the first ones, but we tried our best. So DSC
we followed the rules.
We did.
By not having we didn't break the embargo, but one of the other publications broke the embargo. And go ahead, Steph.
So DSC is postponed until November 2022. And, every show just has to make a lot of decisions. I don't fault them at all for this. I think November will likely be a better time to have a show if they want a show of more magnitude, just because right now, we've got new variants happening by the second, and it seems like it just becomes more dangerous to have a show where a lot of people are kind of clustered in a smaller space. So don't fault them at all. I think that November will be an excellent time to have a show, because like last October when InfoComm postponed, it ended up being like a pretty good turnout. So I really am hoping that the same happens for DSC.
The one thing that's unique about this is a couple things that I noticed. First, they're co-locating it with LDI, lighting design. Now, in my opinion, what they're kind of doing, it seems to be, is they're setting up the ability to have more commercial AV products than just digital signage, because by having lighting, that adds live events people to the mix. That also adds potentially architects, interior designers, high-end AV designers, acoustical designers. So I think that you might see this become more than just a digital signage show.
Right.
But also the other thing is, they're kind of resurrecting a show that has been gone for a while, like it literally disappeared because the organization used to own it went out of business.
Right.
So I think that this is better for them, because, they would have had a very small show in March. Mm-hmm. And I know I know a lot of brands that wanted to be part of this, but were too hesitant because of the time of year. I know a lot of them are going to now sign up because it's November. People feel more comfortable with November, as you said, because of the new variants, the new stealth.
And usually by summer and fall, I mean, if we're basing it around 2020 and 2021, it's usually typically when things are a little bit better. It's usually the winter, which is, it kind of coincides with flu season, where new variants seem to just kind of run rampant.
Yeah, let's hope the heck this is done by then. These shortages, all this other stuff.
It's just
hey. We have a video overview by one of our sponsors. As you know, this is brought to you by Legrand and Shure. And Shure has a wireless product, a family called the SLX-D digital wireless system, which is like an upgrade to the previous SLX system. It's 24-bit. It's all digital audio, RF performance, but digital transmission. And check it out. This is a great wireless product for both live events as well as installs. So, hey, you need a digital wireless system. That's a system to get. Shure's doing a phenomenal job. They are our favorite microphone company, obviously, since we're using Shure mics. But hey, Sony today launched something really kind of cool. It's an 8,000 lumen, 30-pound projector. So the thing only weighs 30 pounds, but it's 8,000 lumens. The VPL FWZ85, okay, so or the Z80 and Z85 are two different versions of it, but they're both 8,000 lumens. So that's a very small package for that level of brightness. And it's interesting because I'd love to have this in my classroom. This would be a great product for auditoriums and things like that. But they're also aiming this at digital signage as a laser projector. And we have an image there where you're seeing it, 3 of them mounted vertically. And what it does is provide this giant digital canvas that can be, in a museum application or a corporate lobby application or high-end business or even experiential. That space is still able to be used for something else other than projection. That's the negative of using a flat panel, is that when it's off, it's a flat panel that's off, right? When it's on, it's a display. So I think projection is still a big deal, and have 8,000 lumens in that small package. And by the way, this isn't a commercial. They're not sponsoring this. I just think it's a really good product. Maybe they'll send one for my classroom, of course, but I do love the product.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, while this is a show about news, like it's also, and we do have sponsors and we're upfront about that. It's also a show where you and I like to just talk about the things we like.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's 30 pounds. I mean, it's actually lighter than 30 pounds. It's 29 officially, but it's 8,000 lumens. I mean, it blows my mind to think about it. Steph, when I was your age,
when you were my
when I was your age, a 29-pound projector, and this is not an exaggeration, would not have been brighter than 200 lumens. 200.
That's not
so
very
this is
bright.
8,000 lumens. I'm not exaggerating. Like the big, huge projectors that weighed 50, 60, 70 pounds were in the range of 500 lumens. So it's mind-boggling to think how far this industry's come.
Did you have the teachers who had the like overhead projectors?
Oh yeah, we used to be able to take overhead projector before projectors were around and put something on top of it called an LCD panel that flowed through it that gave you 8 shades of gray that you could project on any wall.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I remember like being in elementary school and they had the really old school projectors like that with like what were they, the vis-a-vis markers? Where you would have to like get a water on a wet paper towel to like wipe off, but they wouldn't actually wipe off, they would just smear. Yeah, good times.
Run.
Good times. So I want to talk about this study because I think it's like really sad, but also, true. So Barco ClickShare conducted a study, and it's like a survey, and they found that 35% of workers have trouble engaging in hybrid meetings, which is sad because you think about, like we're moving forward to hybrid work, like that's the future, the hybrid office, but 35%, while that's not the majority, that's still a significant amount of people who are having trouble really engaging and bearing down in meetings when they're hybrid.
Well, I think the issue is there's a certain subset of people, like my age especially, that just are not that interested in having these sort of like hybrid applications for meetings. We want to either be all, it is difficult. Like even, let's put it this way, teaching class. Yesterday, I assigned my ad creative class 2 projects, and I split the class in half, and I said, you have to do this project and you have to do this other project. But there was one person online. So what do I do with the one person? How do I assign the one person online to one of the 2 groups? It's not easy to do, right? I mean, last week when I taught, there were like 6 people online and like 12 people or 13 people in person. So I split the class in half and had 3 groups, right? But there's this one random person, right? And of course, he's that person that never turns on his camera, right? Which makes it even worse. So then you break up into a group, and there's that person leering in who's never turned on their camera. Not even sure who that person is. Thank God there's a name in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, right? I mean, outside of that, and it is a weird environment. And I think that certain people will thrive in it, but it's almost like an either or. It's almost like you'd rather all be online or all be in person. It's that hybrid situation we really haven't nailed yet.
But like there was another, like metric that they gave that was like 8 and 10 are in favor of a hybrid work model, but also 71% of workers experience stress in hybrid meetings. So I just think it's just a time where nothing that exists is going to be the perfect solution, because no matter what it is, it's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, and I think that 8 and 10 thing has to do with also, hey, do you want to work from home every once in a while? Of course, 80% of people are going to say, yeah, of course, every once in a while I'd like to work from home, right? And it's no one wants to be told, now that they've experienced it, that they have to work into an office. We're going through the same thing here, as you know, Steph, where we're looking at the positions and saying, hey, for you don't need to be in the office every day. What do you think? Right. How often do you want to come in? How comfortable are you? And, where do you want to sit, kind of thing?
Mm-hmm. Because I think I am assigned 3 days a week in the office. Like, once this variant kind of calms down, once we kind of get into more of and obviously after we move, once we kind of start getting into a routine, I'm supposed to be in 3 days a week. Other people who work here, I think, are assigned more, and then some are assigned less. Some people are mostly working from home. So I think a lot of offices are doing what we do, where we're kind of starting to realize that, like, okay, the nature of you being in the office or not is more dependent on like the work that you're putting in. Like, is your work
be accommodating? You got to be accommodating. And there's going to be times, you're like you talked about your internet. You'd be confident doing this show from home, but not 100% confident. You feel 100% confident coming here, but you feel 80% confident at home.
Right.
And, you've taken over a show for me when I've been traveling. I would do the same for you. So.
And you've done the same for me when I've had issues. So, I mean, happens. You know what? Yeah, technical issues are going to happen.
So therefore, there's that issue. But speaking of technical stuff, as you know, at the E4 this past December, Alamo E4 show, LG debuted for the world. Like, it was actually the worldwide debut of their collaboration products. Well, they've extended that with the Crate Board interactive displays into the education market, very specifically focused on K through 12 and somewhat focused on higher education. So they're going after smartboard. They're like, hey, smartboard, we're coming after you. Sharp with the Aqueous, we're coming after you with this line of products, and it'll be interesting. It's called the Create Board. I like the line.
Yeah, I do too. I do wonder, though, if they'll be able to kind of overtake Smart in that way, because Smart is just a brand that I just associate with K through 12.
Yeah, because, it's sort of like trying to displace, the stuff that you go to a movie theater, right? And you just always see the same, like, I don't even know what the brand is, but everyone uses the same popcorn thing, right? And it'd be like, can you imagine you're like a new brand of popcorn, you're going to try to penetrate the theater market, how hard that would be? It's like,
that'd be very hard.
I've been buying this for years and years and years from the same company. Now you're asking me to switch. So I do think it's an uphill battle, because like you said, I mean, even the kids know them as smartboards. Like, you talk to a third grader and they go, hey, Mom, I did this on the smartboard.
On the smartboard. I remember, like, I have such a clear memory of being in middle school, like being in 8th grade. And we started to integrate smartboards into our classrooms, and like trying to get these like really old teachers who would just always use those old school projectors and just a regular chalkboard or whiteboard to using a smartboard. I visibly I have such a clear memory of a teacher like picked up a like dry erase marker and wrote on the smartboard because she didn't understand what the smartboard was. She like got the marker and goes to write. We're like, no, don't do it. And she like wrote like one thing and was like, wait, what? It's just a whiteboard. We're like, it's not a whiteboard. It's a smartboard. They should use that in a commercial, I think.
They should. Probably. And LG is a big brand. Everyone knows LG. Yes. If anyone can pull it off, it'll be LG. But obviously they've strategically focused on K through 12 first. So you had that story about Barco and hybrid meetings and the hybrid workforce.
We kind of have a theme this episode.
We do, especially with our sponsor Legrand, who's going to talk about you want to talk about what they're pushing right now, because they have this whole thing on the hybrid workforce.
The hybrid workforce, it's everyone's talking about it right now. So if you are a manufacturer, distributor, whatever, and you're not talking about it, like, what are you doing? This is important. So Legrand recently designed its hybrid workforce solutions website. So as you can see with my screen share here, they've redesigned it. They've got a lot of tools, and of course it shows all of their brands here that can help, but they also have a lot of tools, trends, guidebooks, figuring out digital signage in the hybrid workplace, how to simplify your workspace at home or at the office. So they've really made it about not what brands or not this or not that, but they've made it about, okay, what do you need for your hybrid workspace? And then we have guidebooks and tools to kind of help you figure out what exactly you need for your space.
Yeah,
so
it's a microsite to help you out and to kind of, because they have 7, 8 brands, maybe I guess probably 10 brands. And you go to this page, it is sort of like transports all the brands into, okay, here are the applications. And Legrand, as you know, is like one of those glue companies that makes a little bit of everything. We have Legrand mounts all over our building here.
Yes.
When we mount things, we're using them. In fact, we're moving today and moving those mounts. But yeah, I mean, the fact of the matter is everyone sells them. Everyone sells Legrand, whether you're selling daylight screens, chief mounts, whatever you're selling Legrand in one way or another, Vadio for cameras. So check out the microsite. If you're watching, no matter where you're watching, it's in the comments area. But if you want to check it out now, go to legrandAV.com/resources/hybrid_workforce_solutions. There you go.
But it's probably easier for you to just go to the link when we drop it below. But it's very nice. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, they've got like some related products, like some different mounts that you can use for your setup at home or at the office. My favorite thing, though, is that they include the importance of good Wi-Fi. And under the thing about having good Wi-Fi, they're like, choose a really good Wi-Fi or mesh router. And I'm like, yes, period. That's what I just did.
Hey.
So
you have 1 gig? You have gig internet going into your place, or is it junky internet?
It's junky.
You do a speed test?
It's junky. I mean, my download speed is much higher than my upload speed.
Yeah, what is your download speed? Do you remember?
Like I want to say, like it's in the 200s.
Okay.
So it's it's good.
Yeah.
But my upload speed is like 30.
Yeah.
So it's much slower.
Well, for those of us that do uploading and downloading at trade shows, that would be like lightning fast on a trade show.
Yeah.
Meeting room.
Yeah.
But at home, that's struggling along, especially with your nice 4K frame TV.
Oh, yes. I have to have good Wi-Fi so that I can have my good frame rates. That's.
Hey, by the way, when you have that TV in standby, do you use the ambient mode where it throws up pictures with the frame? You do? Is that cool?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah, it's very cool. I tend to pick art that goes with the space. Yeah. So I've chosen like a really bright, like kind of rainbow artwork because I have as you know, my couch is pink. My rug is like hot pink and white and yellow. So I have like this really cool, like multicolor art showing. So my house is very kooky, but it does look very cool.
I think we should take a tour. We should have Madeline edit a video tour of your place because I bet it looks really good.
Yeah, Miss Stephanie's gonna have to clean her house before. So give me some warning. And then I will let Madeline
we should do?
Show everyone.
We should do rAVe cribs, right? First you show your place, I'll show my
TV
place. And
we'll
get different people to show rAVe TV cribs. And we'll get someone from Legrand and someone from Shore. I mean, aren't you curious? Like, do they have this stuff at home? I'm curious because I got stuff from our industry all over my house.
Oh, yeah. That'd be fun.
Let's do it. Let's
do
rAVe TV cribs. If you want to volunteer your house for rAVe TV cribs, contact us now. Comment below.
Yeah. And let me go last so that I have time to get my house and work in order.
Hey, by the way, are you one of those people that plays games, like video games? And
like video games?
Yeah.
I have not. I mean, I used to dabble in the arts. I haven't in a long time. I was a Halo kid growing up, like Halo 1. Yeah. Like on the black Xbox, like not whatever one they're on now. 5. I don't know. And it was like it was before it was before the 360. It was before the first 360. It was like the black Xbox. So
59.
So like short story, my dad was deployed. My dad was in Afghanistan in like 2002, 2003.
Okay.
And they played Halo over there. Him and all the dudes like would link up their TVs and be like all playing one game but like on different screens and would play together. And so when he came home, he got me into it. So I was the first kid on the block with Halo 1. So all the boys from the neighborhood would come and play with me, and excuse my language, but I would kick their asses.
Well, I brought that up because we have a gaming story on our site. We have a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
The gaming the size of the accessory market. And we talked about this last week about how big that market is.
Yes, but it's funny because the gaming accessories are not even being bought by gamers anymore. They're being bought by like at-home workers.
Yeah.
For their office setups.
Yeah, our production team has the new Logitech gaming headphones that we're using behind the scenes. I still say we should force Madeline to turn on her.
Yeah, Madeline uses gaming
gaming headsets when that's how she talks to us, because she has this like little microphone and it pops out. But there's also a story, Steph, on our website right now of UNC's esports arena.
Yes,
that was posted as well.
Let's look
so
at that.
We had two stories. There you go. Black Box and SDVOE actually did the actual esports arena. And we showed this video way back when in the beginning of rAVe TV, but this was built in a dorm. And as you know, Hinton James is not the nicest dorm.
Was it Hinton James?
It's either Hinton James or Morrison. Isn't it Morrison? Which one is it?
I don't know. Was it Craig?
Craig. Maybe it's Craig. One of the big dorms.
I think it's Craig.
They built it in the basement of it. So, but it's a good use of space. It's
so cool.
Yeah, you can actually play that video. Click that video right there so people can see it. Right there. Now go full screen with it. See if it shows up full screen. There you go. Yeah, that's it right there. And there's a little interview in there about it. You can see this story on our website at ravepubs.com. And there's LG stuff, Samsung stuff, there's Epson stuff in there. And of course, Black Box did all the signal routing distribution through SDVOE, which is 10 gig AV/IP, which you need for esports. You can't do this 1 gig because otherwise the reaction time of the joysticks players, gaming, whatever they're called now, to the video is delayed, and you can't have that. You have to be real time.
I wonder if the bezels on this bother them though. That would bother me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think that they're used to it as just playing in their, I guess normally as kids playing in their house and small TVs, right? I mean, but to get here and have larger TVs and all this awesomeness.
But okay, so how does it work? Do they have to link up to different internet to play the games here? Because the UNC internet is not that good to be doing all that.
That's a good question. Here's how it works. Epic Games financed part of this venture along with Lenovo. So they have their own internet going straight into that room that's dedicated for them. And it's part of the school internet, and that's probably the reason why your internet is slow when you get on campus. But it's part of EduRoam and stuff. So yeah, so they get higher speed internet. That's a really good question because you can't just like
EduRoam by itself,
especially when you have like 30 students playing the same game at the same time.
Yeah,
and of course inside the room it's a dedicated AV network, right? That's dedicated with SDVOE going across. So they're not sending that content out 10 gig. They're sending that content out, through Twitch. You can actually go to Twitch and watch the players play in that room. So
that's like a part of gaming that I just like does not make sense to me.
Well, Panasonic is really doing a phenomenal job. They have this product called Kairos that it's designed as a live event switcher, but has become the switcher of choice.
That's cool
for esports, for live arenas, for live arena esports. So
is it Panasonic who at ISC, and like I'm basing this on ISC 2020, so it's obviously like been a couple years, but wasn't it Panasonic who had a booth that like people were gaming?
Yeah, they had famous kids that were gamers.
Yeah,
both at Infocom and at ISC they did it, and they were actual kids that make hundreds of thousands, if not millions. I don't know the number.
And they would just like sit there and play games all day at a trade show and like get paid to do that. Yeah,
I mean, the last Fortnite tournament, national tournament in 2019 or 2020, a 14 or fit, don't quote me on this, it's 14, 15 or 16-year-old won it and won like $1.5 million in the tournament. So when he came home from the tournament, his mom said, "Get down in the damn basement and start playing video games."
I should have stuck with Halo because I could be living lavish right now.
Yeah, you exactly. You could have a Halo palace.
But my dad was like, "Oh, I've created a monster. You need to get outside. Stop playing this game." But you know what? He could have made me a millionaire. So this is his fault, I think.
You're going to be a millionaire eventually.
I hope so.
There you go. Well, look, thanks for watching us on rAVe TV. You can watches every Wednesday at noon Eastern at ravepubs.com, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Facebook. Thanks to the production team, including Madeline, who's always hiding behind a mask and a headphones.
Yes. Miss Madeline Welch, this would not be possible without her or by the rest of our team, our social team, project management team, everyone. We're very grateful to
everyone. Well, next week we'll see you in the new digs.
Yeah. We'll do a room tour. Bye, everybody.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary.